So in this video, we're going to style up our navbar. So within my CSS, I'm going to kind of scroll to the top just to keep myself organized. So after our general page sections, I'm going to put in styling for the navbar. So /star, I'm going to say navigation styles or nav style or section, however you want to say it. And then in here, I'm going to go ahead and call out my header and then the navbar. And then I'm going to just set the padding to being 30 pixels top and bottom and 0 pixels right and left. I'm going to also set the color to being white. And then the background color, whoops, excuse me, I'm totally on the wrong thing. That doesn't go right there, my bad. I was like, that didn't look right. The background color is what I wanted to do. Background color is going to be RGBA 102, 51, 0, and 0.8. I'm going to set the border to none. Let's go ahead and save that. Let's check if our color popped in. It sure did. There's our brown color. Great. All right, so now let's style up that text. So I'm going to go ahead and call out the header again and calling out the navbar light, navbar nav, and then nav link to call out those links. And this color will be white. Just set that text to a white color. I'm going to set the padding to being 5 pixels and 8 pixels of padding. Then I'm going to change the hover color of this. So I'm going to call out that header again. And call out navbar light. And then the hover color, a hover. And that color is going to be pound EEC856. And I'm actually going to important flag that. Sometimes it doesn't want to work, so I'll give it an important flag. Make sure that that overrides. I'm going to set the active color. So header, navbar light, set the A active, color to being, or excuse me, the font weight is going to get more bold. Font weight is going to go up to 700. I'm going to important flag that one as well. Let's go ahead and save that and see what we've got here. There we go. I can see that that hover color is changing. And I can see when I click on that, that active makes it heavier. So far, so good. Let's keep going. All right, let's call out our Navbar brand. Let's go ahead and put in our logo image. So I'm going to call out header, and I'm going to say .navbar brand. I'm going to type in background URL to pull our background link, images, oops, hang on, almost did it again, images / Southwest pet logo .svg. Set background repeat to no repeat. No repeat. Background position to being 15 pixels by 0. And then height is going to be auto. Let's save that and see what we've got here. Well, there's sort of my logo. All right, let's go back and fix this where the problem lies. All right, to fix this footer, we've got some funky things going on. First thing I need to do is actually add the name of my site instead of logo. So I had that little logo as a placement holder. So I'm going to navigate over to my HTML document, into my Navbar brand where it says logo, and then I'm going to type in the word Southwest. In there, I'm going to create a span tag. And I'm going to give it the class of subhead. And then that is going to be veterinary clinic. Let's save that. And that looks a little better. Oops, I have the double bracket there. Get rid of that. There we go. That looks better. I also want my navigation to pull over to the right. So to put that in, I'm going to navigate to this div that says collapse, navbar collapse, and within that class, I'm going to add justify content end. And that will justify the content to the right. So there it pulls that all to the right, and that looks pretty good. That looks much better than what I had. So let's go ahead and I want to fix a few more things. So I'd had just in my Navbar brand, just the placeholder. So I'm going to change it to SWVet because I want to make that match this ID that we gave to the carousel. So that's kind of the top of the page is the SWVet. I also want to change my first link up here to also match that instead of featured, so SWVet. And that should all match then to the top of the page. So let's save this. Now let's jump over to my CSS and let's put in some styling for the rest of this. So I'm going to go ahead and call the header, again, call the Navbar light, and then Navbar brand. I'm going to set the color to white. Important flag that. Let's set the margin to 0. The font is going to be 1.6 rem. Ooh, helps if I have a colon. There we go. Font weight is 400. And then I'm going to set the padding left to 105 pixels. And I'm going to call out that the subhead that we just created. So I'm going to call out header, Navbar brand, span, subhead. Oops, that is not the correct, those brackets. And then I'm going to set the display to block. Font family is going to be that Open Sans again, with the backup of sans serif. Font size is 0.6 em, and font weight is 100 to make it slightly lighter. Then I'm going to change the color of that button, our Navbar toggler. I'll call it header. Navbar toggler. And that background color is going to be white. And I'm going to set the margin right to being 25 pixels. Let's go ahead and save that. Refresh. And there we can see our button pops up. It's white now against that brown. That looks a lot nicer. I have my hover color. Our logo's pushed over, and it is 2 different font weights. It just kind of makes a little more interesting visual interest than just the one. So that's all looking pretty good for our Navbar. Double check that that takes us to where we want to go. And all our links are working correctly. That works excellent. So our Navbar is good. We're set there. So last but not least, we want to add a footer to our site. So we will do that in our last video. I'll see you there.